The Chinese government investigated Nvidia, accusing it of suspected monopoly and illegal operations, and prepared to impose a huge fine. Nvidia also fought back strongly. Jensen Huang, who visited Vietnam in a high-profile manner, was not afraid of China's investigation. Nvidia even stopped accepting orders from Chinese customers. In fact, China does not need Nvidia, and Nvidia does not need China either. Because of the U.S. government sanctions on China, China cannot buy Nvidia's high-end AI chips, but China can produce low-end and mid-end chips by itself. Huawei is about to mass-produce the Ascend 910C chip, which has performance comparable to Nvidia H100. Nvidia also regards Huawei as its biggest competitor. The large-scale mass production of Huawei's Kirin 9020 chip means that China's third-generation 7nm chip manufacturing process is fully controllable and no longer afraid of the United States. The next step is to gradually move towards 5nm or 3nm equivalent chips. China no longer needs Nvidia's products, so it is not surprising that it started investigating Nvidia at this time. Similarly, because Nvidia is an absolute monopoly of AI chips, its high-end computing chips are snapped up by giants such as OpenAI, Microsoft, Meta, and Tesla, and are in short supply. Nvidia's market value once reached $3.6 trillion, and the company's revenue and profits were very good. Instead of taking the risk of doing business with China and being restricted by the Chinese government, it is better to simply give up the Chinese market and focus on the Western industrial chain. Investing in Vietnam and establishing an AI computing center in Vietnam is also quite meaningful. Vietnam's infrastructure, whether it is electricity or network, and even Vietnam's geographical location, is at a disadvantage. Except for Singapore, Southeast Asian countries do not have a large-scale AI industry. Jensen Huang's investment in Vietnam is actually to prevent the U.S. government from taking action against him and transfer wealth in advance. Nvidia's monopoly not only harms China, but also affects the healthy competition in the U.S. market. The U.S. government is trying to investigate Jensen Huang through tax and other means. It is said that he used tax loopholes to evade $8 billion in taxes. As a yellow-skinned Asian, it is difficult for him to be exempted from responsibility like Trump, who became president. Once he is really investigated, he is likely to be convicted and face imprisonment. At this time, investing in Vietnam and becoming hostile to China can also show political loyalty and relieve pressure. In fact, the chip war and AI war that we have talked about for a long time are essentially a civil war among the Chinese. The biggest enemy of the United States, and the only country that can produce chips completely independently, is China. The chip experts that mainland China relies on most, such as Liang Mingsong and Zhang Rujing, are all from Taiwan. And the companies that the U.S. government relies on, such as TSMC, AMD, and Nvidia, are also managed by Taiwanese. Chinese Americans occupy a very important position in major chip and AI companies in the United States. In the academic field, the proportion of papers and patents in mainland China is also in a leading position. It can be said that the two sides of the Taiwan Strait are leading in the mature process and advanced process of chip manufacturing respectively, and European, American, Japanese, and Korean companies are rapidly marginalized. The strong strength of the two sides in chip technology also makes the United States dare not easily provoke a war. If a crisis breaks out in the Taiwan Strait, the global chip supply will stagnate. Due to the common language and culture, the mainland can often recruit talents from Taiwan with high salaries. And because the mainland's crazy investment and catch-up in the field of chip technology has caused great pressure on the United States, they dare not force Taiwan to hand over the leadership of chip technology like Japan. If TSMC has any problems and is overtaken by mainland companies, it will be a disaster for the U.S. technology industry. Therefore, although Trump severely criticized Taiwan for stealing the U.S. chip industry, he can only use small actions to fix Taiwan and dare not launch a full-scale attack like the U.S. did to Japan in the 1980s. Today, we see that the mainland and Jin Sun Huang seem to have torn their faces, but in fact, this is a decent breakup. With a Chinese face, no matter where you are in the United States, you are not the real master. You can never be fully trusted like Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, and Musk. When Nvidia was at its lowest point, Chinese consumers bought a large number of graphics cards to help it through the difficulties. Now the situation has changed, and it is time to break up. We are all Chinese. There is no need to be petty. If you have tens of billions of dollars in assets in the United States, you will also be tough on the Chinese government. This is pure business. As an adult, be rational. In the future, mainland China will have Huawei. In the United States and Western countries will use Nvidia. Isn't this good? I found a video of Jin Sun Huang giving a speech in China 10 years ago. That was when Nvidia was at its lowest point. Jin Sun Huang attended Xiaomi's product launch and promoted Nvidia chips. Jin Sun Huang was so humble at that time. He was not an arrogant person. Friends who are interested can click the link below the video to watch it.